Okay.
We go to the place down. This place. It's open. It crowds out from one place.
And we're live.
Roger did enough pulling my leg today. He worked me over really good this afternoon. He couldn't stop, he was still doing it, going out the door.
Roger, someone asked me on the Facebook page, do we do any kind of a leaf pickup?
Oh, I've had several people
We'll
call.
talk about that
Okay.
tonight. I would like the board, again, once we open. the
Right.
meeting, I would like the board to, send out a letter making approval, so if we pick up these, it needs to be in clear plastic bags.
Okay. Is that, so you had a bunch too? I-
Oh, yeah, people would contact.
Just for the simple fact that us going out there and raking wet, nasty, dirty leaves, it just takes forever, and then they go out of the truck or out the loader, and what do you do with them?
Right, and you don't want garbage instead.
Right, have them bag them up if they want them removed, and we either pick them up, we can take them up the old dump and fill bags.
Okay. So you'll put something on.
I will, once we get, after this, whatever we
Or
got.
the town put out a letter informing all the people that it's of, because in the past, they just went around with rakes and loaders, Jimmy can
Right,
attest to that.
yeah, they've always.
And rake stuff up, and like I said, you rake your yard, and the neighbor side it doesn't, and the leaves roll over, so we're constantly going back over and over and over and over. So, it takes a few minutes to walk by, drive by, grab them with bags, and throw them in the truck.
So you don't care what kind, what it is. as long
Clear,
as
clear
it's back
plastic
on.
bags. Yeah, so we're not picking up people's trash.
You mentioned clear plastic is preferred.
Yeah, so
Not
they know,
black, not,
so they know what they're picking up.
exactly.
Yeah. You think clear plastic.
Right, this is for the highway, sorry. I'm just-
For-
Pick up leaves, pick up leaves.
Pick up these in town. And I'd really like to set it up in the future for a spring cleanup only. Then we don't have to do it twice a year. Have a designated time frame in the spring where we can go around, everybody can get their leaves together, we take a week and pick everybody's up, and we're done with it. 2 weeks, whatever it may be. Because it just seems to drag out for months, the way we do it now.
Right.
It's always a
We
half
have
a
a set
day here,
date,
a couple
it's-
hours here, and trying to move forward with roads, clean up as it is of our own stuff, going around picking up people's leaves and stuff like that, it's just a pain in the ass. And then you get, how come we don't do it on the side roads, how come we don't do it? Something for the board to think about.
Yeah, I've had probably at least 10 calls. I said, I'm gonna ask tonight. And that's what I figured, if we put it.
Put it on there, yeah.
then
Then we
everybody
just
would
make
know.
it kind of the same time every year roughly, say this is it. You have these days, and that's it, we're not coming any other day.
It's pretty much all the leaves are down, most of them.
For the most part, but they just blow around.
I know.
down until
I
spring.
know.
Like I said, some people rake their yards, some people don't.
I hadn't seen them.
It's just, it's continuous agony going back to the same, because some people are really fussy about their yards and they rake. Mark Peck was famous for it. You clean today, you pick up tomorrow. You clean today, you pick up tomorrow. A couple days later, there'd be another pile out. And it's like everybody's leaves blew his yard. He was always raking them out.
24-hour thing, maybe.
Get a guy-
Big world of Mark, it was monotonous.
He's gonna get it taken down for
The gentleman that does it, Mr. Davies.
Gordon?
Gordon, he's a
Gordon.
Ricky.
Gordon
Yeah.
Point,
Yeah.
Gordon Point.
He's a Ricky, that cool, he's a good man.
And that poor
He's been
man,
working.
he's old
Yeah,
to be doing
almost
that.
90.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. it's nice and toasty.
I don't know if he still goes out west or not. It's
Oh,
like-
when they
When I was there,
No,
he was still going up, driving.
well, sometimes it
Gotcha.
does, but. Well,
82 years
yeah,
old.
yeah.
No.
How old is he?
He's 89, but at 82, he would drive from here to Martin.
No,
Oh, I didn't even
Right,
bother.
that's my truck.
Just- it's a wet rain.
That way over
It's
there,
so-
and that, 82 years old.
All concrete, all over.
Driving concrete.
Yeah.
They were plugging old mine shops
Yep.
where they were near the road. They were filling with concrete.
No kidding.
Who's that?
White, Gordon White. That's what it was.
We're getting more than that.
The cost of food's gone so high for people that it's gotten.
Well, especially now that Dickinson's closed. Dickinson closed.
When did you have a food pantry?
It was in the town building there.
Like fire department?
No, the town office.
Oh, by the garage?
Yeah,
Yeah,
very small.
in Dickinson.
Yeah.
This month we'll probably have 150. We'll probably serve like 150 families this month.
Rudy said you have a traffic officer over there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Does he actually do traffic control or?
Oh, yeah, you get in line and you stay where you are. And he has everybody go up in a certain order and you don't go in until he tells you to go in.
Right.
So when you want to Lake Placid on the
Oh,
school
really?
property, they sold it off to the thrift shops, not food pantry.
Oh,
Rangers have 3 10A parts, copper cylinder.
Wayne, you can check with them. Wayne, you parts.
I have a motion to open the meeting. Jim makes the motion. A second. Tim, all those in favor, aye. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the previous board meetings. We have September 23rd, and then we have another short meeting on October 15th.
Yeah.
If anybody's ready to make a motion, okay, on September 23rd,
Couple corrections.
okay.
Page 4. Paragraph 6. It's not a broom and brush hog, it's a boom brush hog.
Just as a point of information, okay, Debbie Frazier is ill, so Cindy's taking minutes. I should have said that. That's early. Anything else, Roger?
On page 7, Mr. King's name spelled incorrectly.
Close enough.
Jesus.
Then on page 8, second to last paragraph, is double gap. So we get some notes.
Anything else?
One of them.
Okay, good, thank you. Anybody else have any corrections or amendments? So I'd like to do separate motions, all right, so let's have a motion to accept the minutes as amended for September 23rd. Tim makes the motion. Jim seconds it. All those in favor? Aye. Minutes passed. October 15th. She's busy taking minutes, so you guys are gonna have to do the action on there, okay? Jim makes the motion. Tim seconds it. All those in favor? Minutes passed. Moving on to the supervisor's report. We got 3 or 4 things to say. This came in the mail, the Waverly Food Pantry. All right, so I figured I'd pass it out tonight, all right? It seems that they're serving increased numbers with increased needs. Their numbers are up, and so therefore, they're looking for extra money because they're gonna buy more turkeys and fixing, okay, for Thanksgiving and gifts for kids at Christmas time. So, as citizens, consider this request. Any questions on that? The next thing is the Sportsman's Club made a contribution, okay, to equipment here for the town of Waverly, particularly the beach, okay? Brand new sinks and faucets were purchased for the bathhouse, okay, by the Sportsman's Club. And they're already locked up in to be placed into action, okay, next spring. And faucets, sinks and faucets. Also, portable chairs, okay, for the lifeguards. Because usually they have a double chair, that one will be up in the tall wooden chair and then one, okay, on the beach, okay, so. Folding chairs. 2 picnic tables, okay, were purchased for the beach. And these are the metal picnic tables that you can easily put together, and you can easily take them apart for storage when it comes wintertime. And then I also purchased paint, which will be used next June to paint the floors of the beach house. So that paint is in storage where it's warm, so it doesn't freeze. So those are contributions from the Sportsman's Club, okay, the benefits the beach. The next thing is, there's a big FEMA meeting, a countywide FEMA meeting in Malone tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And of course, I'll be there representing the town of Waverly. And of course, I'll receive all sorts of instructions as to how to fill out paperwork, okay, to advance, okay, whatever reimbursement you will get in the future. But that's a very important meeting. It's in the 911 building at 10 o'clock tomorrow. The fourth and last thing that I have to say, it's good news, okay? NYMER, which is our insurance company, has carefully considered it cost after the flood that we had on the 9th of August. Both the medical side was flooded, this office was flooded, and it cost us $8,650 to have it thoroughly cleaned. And so we're, checks in the mail. I don't know the exact number, but it said over $8,000 we're gonna be reimbursed for the cleaning. So that's good news that it took them forever, okay, but they finally made a decision. So we're gonna be reimbursed over $8,000 for that. All right, moving on. okay? And this is just a suggestion, all right? There's a resolution number 20, okay, from the town of Dwayne, okay? And basically, it's their commentary, okay, on the trail, the countywide trail system. So they solicited information from their residents concerning noise, traffic, and litter, all right? But they're basically opposing, okay, ATVs, four-wheelers, side-by-sides, and other motorized recreational vehicles, that they should not be allowed to use the county roads within the town of Dwayne, specifically County Route 14, County Route 26, County Route 27. And so that's what they sent, okay, for the county. I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that that would be our message. My message is, let's think about what we want to say about the trail system, all right? And then make a resolution and send it to the county legislators. And I think one suggestion that I would have, okay, but again, it would be a group decision to make that, is that, you know, we would want, okay, people who are gonna use the trail system, when they come in on County Route, it's 14, right, from Dwayne, so that they would respect and stay on the trail. That could be one part of our resolution. The second thing that comes to my mind is when you look at that county map, there's a trail that's gonna go from the res, okay, starting, and it comes south all the way, and then come up the old rail bed through Dickinson, and then come into town, okay, on the old rail bed. And so, in my opinion, maybe we don't need a second trail coming into town, but that's just my opinion. But that's one extension that they're looking at in the trail system. And then, you know, so we need to garner our feelings, okay, and maybe do a resolution. Any other feelings, okay, on that? We don't have to decide tonight, but I think it'll be, okay,
Well, we don't want to stop income to the town because of this. I mean, in the summertime, I know it's a noise, but there's a lot of income that comes to the town.
It does bring a lot of people into town.
And we don't want to do anything like cut off County Route 14 so that they can't come, because they won't come if you cut off County Route 14.
You know, you can see how Jesse's Supper Club almost, they probably went out of business when they originally, I don't know, I think they brought them back, but they basically gave a negative to all of the snowmobilers, telling them they couldn't come in their outfits, from what I understand. And that just, I mean, that was their income. Basically four-wheelers and snowmobilers. And after they basically banned them or was suggesting that, the business just went right downhill, and now it's closed, from what I understand. No, it's a big part of our economy out here.
right. We're not suggesting that, okay?
Yeah.
But that certainly would be something to consider. But to ask to stay in the trail system would certainly, okay, be appropriate.
I'd like to know if they have any money available to maintain these gravel roads that they travel, like the Blue Mountain Road. I know for a fact, after working here for over 20 years, we would spend a day or two up there breaking and maintaining it, and the next day they'd go up there and they would just basically ruin that road. I mean, they go around the corners, they go so fast, the windrow up by the gate where they cross to go to the Iron Bridge, that they ruts in there, you couldn't drive through there with the car. And so they just needed to come up with a plan to help maintain any road that's not blacktop.
Well, just to be respectful to the towns that they travel on.
True.
I mean, that should be something that's automatic.
Yeah. You know, I think it's a few to run for everybody.
It does.
Any other comments on that?
much ahead.
Okay, well, let's think about it, okay, and we'll bring it up in the future. Monthly bills and financials. Any questions, concerns? All right, if there's none, then we'll move on. Bus garage contract, we're still, working with the school to bring a resolution to this. We were really looking, okay, at a lease agreement with one payment. And the school is proposing a contract with 4 separate payments, spread out over time. And,
Have we received any money from them yet?
no,
And,
nothing. We don't have a contract, we don't have a lease agreement.
well, lock the doors.
Yeah,
What did I tell you earlier?
And there's nothing.
so this might be considered negotiations. We're looking at an executive session, so maybe we can discuss our strategy on this in executive session. But it's still unresolved, so we have to take steps forward to see how we're gonna resolve that. Moving on. As the board requested, first of all, we have a proposal for increase in the rates for 2025. Then the board asked, for money spent on the campsite in 2024. So you have a complete printout on all of our expenditures. And then, the board asked for a third document, which were the increased revenue, based on our charges for 2025, the increases that we'll be asking, all right? We projected how much revenue we would have based on these increases. And so we looked at every cabin, every spot, when it was rented, how many times, all right, over the 2024 season. And then we use that to calculate the increases. So we're looking at an increased revenue based on the increases that we're proposing of over $21,673.94. But again, that's based on attendance in 2024. And we're kind of projecting that for 2025, but that's the only way you can do it.
Right.
That's the only way to do it. So, Lawrence gave me his, projection he did in 2027, and we pretty much parallel that. I'm gonna make more copies. Excuse me.
Oh, that was a control bird.
What's that?
Control bird.
Oh, really? This is Kelly.
Not the one bird. The one hopping. No, things.
So we got a couple of versions out. This camera. Starting to open up.
We've kind of talked about this before, But basically, the sheet that I'm giving you is all the proposed increase in costs for the use of the campsite next year. So we'll see with the first is the RV trailer, $100 more, okay? If there's no sewer, without sewer, then there's $100 more for the sites that have sewer. Sites along the river, another $100. These are seasonal prices. And their winter storage is up $50 to $200. Now, for the first time, we're at a utility fee, okay, for people who use it. So there's 151 days in the camping season from May 1st to September 28th of next year. And so there, we calculated per day what water was, what sewer was, what electric is, times 151 days. And so the cost for a seasonal person would be using those utilities would be $247.64.
That's for the season, I mean.
Yes, that's for the season. For the 151 days.
And that's on top of the 100 increase?
Yes, that's on top. Of the 100 increase, plus if they keep it there all winter, it's $50 more for storage, okay? So I kind of showed you, okay, the increase and then what it is right now, okay, on that sheet. And then short-term RV trailer sites, okay, $20 more a day, and then they pay you utility fee, and that's their per day cost. So if they come in and park their RV for 5-7 days, then that'll be $20 more plus per day fees for utilities. Other sites, $10 a day. 10 sites lean to $10 more a day. And then this was suggested for cabins, it's going to be $20 more a day. Every cabin, no matter what the rate is. And then there'll be a utility fee of $1.64, okay, for each day they have the cabin. And the big one is the big price there, that's the Rock Hill cabin, okay, it's gonna go from $125 to $145, and it's $1.64 a day for utilities. And something that somehow fell through the cracks in 2024, the Rock Hill cabin has to have a 3-day minimum. You don't want people going in there spending 1 day. It takes 4 hours to clean the place because linen has to be changed, okay? Thorough cleaning. So we really want people going in there for multiple days and then you just clean. So this is the rate increases. And then you've got your, what it costs this year. And then what the revenue would do for us.
The electric seems pretty low to me, 50% a day, those RVs.
It's a tough thing unless you put a meter
Yeah.
on it. Okay, this is what I did. I took the January bill, okay, down in the that section of the campground, okay? And then I took a bill from July, all right? And then I subtracted the costs, because no one's in there in January. I subtracted that, and then I divided it out. And I even went to ask an electrical company what they thought, and they said basically that's the right thought process.
You can sell it at all 5 meters, right, all 5 light bills.
Only in the lower part, okay, of the campground where the 11 seasonal are.
On the river?
Yes, on the
That's the
river.
only one you calculated, was the 2 down there.
for that pricing for there. And then I used it all in the rest of the campground.
There's 5 meters down there.
I believe I had the one that was for the lower part. We can revisit this, okay? And if I calculated it wrong, then we can amend this. No one's gonna start moving in there. Well, by February, we should have the pamphlet done as to what we want, so we have time to make adjustments.
I do have one question, and you probably don't have the answer tonight, but I'm curious as to why February, March, and April, our late bills jumped almost doubled for those 3 months. Are we relating that to the Rockville cabin or what?
Probably because the power is on there.
That's why I'm questioning what meter you're using to
Right.
calculate the usage.
Right.
Because in general, everything's shut down, all mains are shut off, except for the one going to Rockville. So your basic delivery charge is only gonna be like $25 a month per meter, except the one that's on for Rockville.
Again, that's something we can really look at. And the issue is, okay, always in the end is unemployment, okay? For the people who work down there, okay? That pushes us over. And if you can see, okay, it's pretty expensive.
How many people do we have working there that only work then and take unemployment for the rest of the year?
We have 2 individuals that run the campground, okay? And in the past, only one of them has applied for collective unemployment insurance. The second individual has not. However, there's no guarantee that that's going to continue. That's a year-by-year decision by the individual. Based on these projections, and if the second individual would collect unemployment insurance, okay, the revenue increase we're going to have, I think it's gonna push us and keep us in the black. But again, this is a projection, okay, based on what's happened and what we want to do.
Does this document include any repairs or anything that needs to be done to the campsite before it opens? Or do we know it has to be done?
I don't think there's many repairs in there. There is not,
Just what they did last year,
right?
just to get it open.
Any other questions? Because under action items later on in the meeting, all right, there's a possibility of improving the rates for 2025 down in the campground. Any questions, any concerns? I certainly will relook at the electrical rate, okay? But,
Did we figure out on the unemployment, what we talked about earlier, the percentage?
I gotta call somebody that's a specialist, okay?
That would change your profit loss significantly.
It would.
You've been in this long enough, Lawrence. Do you know what percentage, curiosity, that an employer pays when somebody draws unemployment?
Depends on the usage. Dickinson is 1%. When I was on the board, it was 8.425.
Here.
Everybody that could be laid off that made up to $11,000. After $11,000, there's no more taken out for unemployment.
So when they start drawing,
Ever in summer help or anything,
Yep.
anybody that can be laid off would be at 8.
that's
That
what
was
they
in
contribute.
2017.
So when they start drawing, the unemployment insurance pays for most of that. What percentage does the employer have to contribute throughout the winter? It's not 100%, is it?
You pay
Strictly 8.
8.425
Okay.
on the first $11,000 of income of anyone that can be laid off.
Mhm.
In other words, your secretary, anybody, your employees, everybody, anybody that can be laid
Yep,
off
yep.
would be paid 8.425. In Dickinson, because they don't lay off, is at 1%.
Yeah, because it goes up every year. Goes up every year.
If you lay
If
off,
you keep laying off, yes.
right, yeah, it goes,
You
yeah.
get a special rating from the unemployment
Yeah.
insurance.
So it's easy to figure. Your accounting firm could give you the exact figure. I mean, all you gotta do is, they have to pay that in.
So the town doesn't pay anything out of their own pocket after they pay that 8%, I don't think.
You pay that, yeah, that's it.
We pay it up
You don't
front.
pay any more,
We pay it up
you
front.
pay the first $11,000.
So when they start drawing, the town doesn't.
That's all comes out of that.
8%.
Money we paid before.
But then the following year it goes up.
Depending on the amount.
So,
It might not.
Yeah.
Like I said, 2017, it was 8.425. And what it is today, I have no idea, but all you do is call your bookkeeper and they can give you the exact figure.
You have to look for a job or doing it like in normal unemployment. You have to look for a job.
Roger, do we need extra people in the winter? Like if we hired someone that did the campground, could they transition into the?
So in the past, it's been discussed, the winter rate through the highway department is less than they get paid down to the campsite.
Okay.
And you can't force somebody to take a lesser job at a lower rate.
From what I understand, the way it works is if you have work for them, they have to come to work. And
Not for lesser money, Jim. You
No,
get a
not
good
for
rule
lesser
set
money.
right here.
Not
what happens
for
is,
money.
that's less than the unemployment rate, then the unemployment gives them a check for the difference for what they're losing. Is that true? And, just up to what they would make in unemployment.
Kim sat right here, that meeting, we discussed it, and she said you cannot force people to take a job at a lesser pay than what they're usually making. If they're willing to do it, then
Right.
unemployment would subsidize the difference.
But having someone work at the campground, could we, in the future, when we're hiring someone, hire them at the highway rate, and basically, they're a highway employee. I don't know if highway can take over the campground or not.
that becomes a union issue,
Right.
okay? And it
So,
have to be
again, it goes
negotiated.
back to seasonal help versus part-time help.
Right,
So right now, those guys are seasonal, they don't fall underneath the union. But if we were to bring them in part-time,
Right.
they automatically fall under the union. So that gives it a totally different pay scale.
and Lawrence touched on this, the issue with unemployment insurance, you pay to cover all your employees, but what hurts you is your part-timers, because they're afraid, okay? The unemployment insurance is looking out, that they're gonna pay out a lot if you laid off a lot of people. Because they're just part-time. And again, in order to be eligible, they have to work so many weeks or parts of a quarter. So that saves us in terms of Waverly Youth and the lifeguards at the beach, because their length of time isn't long enough. They couldn't possibly go and apply for unemployment
So we
insurance.
still have to pay in on it.
Yes, we still pay in on it. We pay in on everybody except for the elected officials. The elected officials, okay, there's no unemployment insurance for. So I will definitely look at, okay, a more precise of what we're paying, okay? For what.
And another answer to your question, Tim, I eliminated that position out of the budget. So trying to save money.
Okay.
So there's no more winter help in the highway department for that part-time position. Cut it this year.
Who does the shoveling
Me,
in front of the library and everything, the doctor's
Ernie
offices?
does,
I do
we
it.
all chip in, we all take care of
I
it.
do it, and I do it here in front of the medical center. And out here, if it's necessary. It's good exercise. The libraries, because it kind of falls in there, and then you
There's a
gotta
lot in
shovel it
there.
all out. So, but anyway, they're not open every day, you just have to make sure you're open for Mondays and Wednesdays. All right, anything else on there? All right, we're moving on. All right, sidewalk in front of the community bank, okay? So I apologize to the board and to the public, okay? This was a fiasco, okay? I didn't do my homework. I really wanted to get this job done quick and fast, okay? And there's a whole set of things, because it's on 458, the New York State Department of Transportation have a say on this. So we're gonna have to use our engineering firm, develop a plan, and submit it to the DOT. So what I was hoping to do under $10,000 is now probably gonna cost us $25,000, okay? So it's unfortunate, but, just, I asked Darren Jarvis, okay, of our engineering firm, to contact, if he has contacts in the DOT, and basically, and we would probably have to start working on that application right now to have it for the spring, because it takes forever to move through the DOT. And then the kicker is, okay, the DOT said, we're gonna have to extend the sidewalk. We wanted to go right to the edge of their driveway in the far end. Now we have to extend it through the driveway. Okay, so that's another 20, 25 feet. But so these are the things you learn. Okay, so it was a faulty bid that we sent out. Okay, and it imploded. Okay, and you live and learn. But so we're going to I assume the board wants to go forward, and I'll contact the engineering firm to develop plans and get this application into the DOT. So that's where we are with the sidewalks. Temporarily, okay, we have to do something because of the holes, and Roger and his men, so what's the fill that you put in there?
We put coal patch in it for now.
Yeah, we're gonna put coal patch in it, okay? And we gotta do something, okay?
They make a Silpro. You could put a Silpro in there and it works a lot better than cold patch. You might even get away with not even having to touch those sidewalks for a while if you put that Silpro in there. It's expensive, but it's good stuff. I use it on all the sidewalks around the post offices. And I did one in Ogdensburg 3 years ago and it still looks the same. And all I did was I put a 1/2 inch glaze over the sidewalk. And it looks just like a brand new sidewalk again. And that was done 3 years ago. But that's why my second proposal that I submitted to the board
Right.
was actual DOT numbers. That's why it was so high.
Yeah.
When I submitted that proposal, because it was done the way it should have been, with 2% slope and curving and detectables and everything. So,
I did notice that when I reviewed, okay, Plan A and Plan D.
yes. But yeah, I mean, Silpro, you can get it right at White Cap, about last time I bought it, it was like $150 a bag. But you can do up to, I mean, Roger can always put in a little bit of crush and run or something in there, and then go right over it with that Silpro, and it will last forever. It's quick drying too. I mean, you could pour that at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning and it'd be dry by 8. So as long as it's mixed right. So there wouldn't be any barricading or anything.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions on that? All right, moving on. The APA and the South River Road update, all right? So the APA has assigned an individual, okay, who is an intern to come and look, okay, at the potential violations of filling in wetlands of the South River Road. Sites, okay, where this might be occurring, a memo was sent, okay, identifying sites, identifying, okay, that our code officer would be willing to do a tour. Roger was also, okay, willing to give this individual a tour of the places on the South River Road, okay? All I'm hearing is we're still getting ready to do this, all right? So it's been 2 weeks now. So I'm going to continue to put pressure on to try to get them to show up and determine if there's filling in of wetlands. And I'm told it's pretty common along the South River Road. And the APA is the only one who has the jurisdiction to make these determinations. Our code officer cannot do it.
So this is by individuals, or is it being done like past practice from the town?
No, this is individuals.
Individuals.
Okay, which is a violation of their lease agreement. Any questions there? Next item, okay, I'll be asking the board to schedule a public hearing to adopt a local law to override the tax cap for 2025. And this is the legal notice that I'd ask the board to approve. Notice is hereby given that the town board of the town of Waverly will conduct a public hearing at the Waverly Town Office, 6 North Main Street, St. Regis Falls, at 6:30 PM on Monday, November 4th, 2024. That's 1 week from today. To consider the adoption of local law number 1 of 2024, which would allow the town of Waverly to override the tax cap for the fiscal year 2025. All those attending will have the right to present written and oral comments and ask questions regarding the 2025 budget tax cap. And then it's so ordered by the Waverly Town Board. So there'll be a complete, explanation, of the budget and where it stands, and if necessary, why we would have to go over the tax cap, which is generally around 2%. So we would be looking to go higher. I will also point out in this meeting that in the past, the tax cap was exceeded without doing this. So we're gonna try to do things in the proper way.
Bernie, you said the 4th at 18:30?
Yes, November 4th at 6:30, 1 week from today. Any questions from the board on this?
You wanna vote now on that, or?
Yeah, I
or
wanna
down
vote-
to-
I wanna
down
vote
to
on-
actions.
Well, it's not done.
I just looked at it, see,
Yeah,
okay.
I'd like you to vote on it right now. All right, Jim makes the motion to have this public hearing. Cindy seconds it. All those in favor? And so we'll legally post this, okay?
Can you email me that text? I've got a text here, but I don't want to type it back in. You can just send it as an email.
Okay, I'll send it as an email. Okay. All right, moving on, water and sewer. All right, the UV system update, it's been completed. All right, the rail system was put around the UV system. So that was the last point that was made, in terms of construction. So the architect, has, signed off. So later on, under action items, there's a third payment to TJ Fiacco Construction for $14,250.
Can I ask you a question over on this?
Okay, just let me finish one more thing. There's also, a balance, for retainage, so we're not spending all the money, we're keeping in reserve $9,785, which was what was agreed to in the contract. Yes, Roger.
Did they put a gate in that you know
A gate, I mean, around the,
of? So they put a railing around the lagoon.
yes, they did.
Did they put a gate in it for access?
I do not know that.
I heard no,
I heard no as well, that's why I'm asking.
it's hard to get into it.
You have to climb over it in order to inspect the bulbs, clean them, change them, replace them.
I heard, yeah.
So
I heard the intent was-
before we issue a check, the question, was there a gate in the plans from the engineer?
And I do not know the answer to that question.
We should check into it.
All right, so maybe we'll table this then. All right? Later on, we'll table it. All right, lead line servicing line inventory. This was mailed out to everyone that's a member of the water system. We had 45 surveys submitted, and this has been forwarded to the water people in the DEC down in Albany. However, there are many individuals who never answered the survey, so it's going to be our task between now and summertime to try to go door to door and talk to people and see if we have to have a total inventory, of all the water lines within our water system. They were mailed out.
Yeah, so go back to.
Yeah, I think it was in May, there was a summary of the water, a study of the water, the quality of the water that's there. And then along with it, there was a survey that was sent out. So we'll be working on that to continue that. Grease flow, the sewer system update, the DEC's over us to try to figure out why we have this excessive grease flowing into the sewer treatment plant. So I started out with, I contacted all the businesses, okay, that cook, okay? And 2 of the 4, okay, have grease traps, all right? And so they've been cleaned. I've got recently, okay, they all been cleaned, yet we still have grease coming. And the others, okay, are smaller businesses, and so they reassured me that all grease is put in containers and thrown in the garbage. So we're gonna probably send out a mailing asking everybody in the water district to be careful with what they do with their grease.
Who doesn't have the grease traps that are,
The school has it in the
yeah?
quick stop, in this quick stop.
They should have one over here, I know, in the center, and that was a major problem, good grease.
Now, okay,
Used to be.
when, I think, when the adult center was first constructed, they had their own septic system, they had their own grease
No.
tank. Now that they're connected to the sewer line, then there's no grease trap now.
They have to have a grease trap in the kitchen and any type of commercial kitchen. And I know from cleaning up these manholes that in front of the adult center, that baby was full of grease from there.
No, we're gonna have to investigate that.
So they have to have a grease trap.
They've reassured me that all of the grease is collected,
Okay, yeah.
thrown away in the garbage. I got a letter saying that's what they do.
Mhm.
What little bit we do, I mean, we don't ever cook with grease.
That's another
You know,
fact.
I mean, we don't fry or anything
Yeah,
like
you
that.
don't have a deep fryer, it
No.
would really make it an issue.
Is the housing project on the septic line, the sewer line?
I believe so.
Yes, they are, yes, they are.
That might be a good place maybe to discuss is that, you know, that maybe people are doing it. It's been an old habit for many years.
Right.
We generally just have kitty litter trouble up there. Yeah, they plug the DI with cat litter. They all flush it down the toilet.
Oh,
But that would be an area to.
Yeah.
Both the adult housing would be something to focus on. All right, the new furnace for the pump house. I tried to get 2 quotes. And I still do not have quotes, okay, on this furnace for the pump house. So do we want to go forward, okay, or do you want me to continue to try to get quotes?
What's the current cost to do it right now?
$5,508.16 from Heat Plus. Or you could give me the authority, okay, when I get these other quotes, okay, and then I can just consult with the low one. So we can move forward on this. That's been done in the past.
So the furnace, it's working right now, but it's on its last leg.
Yes,
Is it?
yes.
Our advertising, did we advertise like we do for other things?
I just,
Doesn't public?
I procured quotes, okay?
Oh, just by
There has been
phone
no
call?
bid notice, there was no bid notice.
The cornerstone, right, cornerstone.
I did not call Cornerstone.
Go to the rules, are we supposed to bid, put it up for bid at a certain dollar amount?
I think the cutoff is $5,000, okay? So
Ten.
this is it 10? 10. So we can just
Up
go.
to 7,500, according to our procurement policy right now, you just need 2 verbal quotes. Over 7,500, 10,000, you need 1 verbal quote, 2 written quotes.
Right now, we have just one written quote,
One written quote.
or should I have more than one to go by?
Let's see what I can do then, okay? Lawrence is right. It's good that we can have comparative shopping before we spend money. All right, moving on. Drainage issue at the corner of County Route 5 and Duane Street. So I thought our short meeting that we had on the 15th, all right, I promised to write a letter. So I wrote a letter to Edward Adams, the superintendent of highways for the county. The purpose of this letter is to focus attention to the drainage that continues from a hole on the corner of County Route 5 and County Route 14. This hole continues to grow larger with water flowing onto the surface of the roadway. The drainage problem needs to be corrected by directing this water to your underground drainage system. This problem was an oversight by the engineers when County Route 14 was reconstructed by Franklin County in 2023. Your prompt attention to this matter is greatly appreciated. Thank you. So a letter went to Ed Adams, and then I also CC'd it to Justice Martin, okay, our county legislator. So Ed Adams called me, and he says, well, that's it's drainage from the streets up above, okay, County 15. So there's drain. This is not a water line leak. This is drainage that's coming from the streets, okay, on the north end of town. All right? And he admits that drainage from people's cellars and from the streets goes into an abandoned line, okay, and it's coming to the surface. My point to him is that line worked. The water stayed underground and it went somewhere, either went to the river or it went to the sewer treatment plant. And with the construction, okay, that line was blocked, whether it was an old line or a new line. So that was his. He says it needs to be fixed, but it's the town of Waverly's, drainage system, so you ultimately have to fix it. So that was his position. And Roger and him had a talk about this months ago, okay? And basically we heard the same thing, right, Roger? Mm-hmm. So Justice Martin calls me based on the fact that he got a copy of this letter. And he agrees, okay, that he's thankful for the letter because he's going to use this at the county legislature. The county's responsible, and they're going to find out what's wrong down there. It's his opinion. So he's going to press that, okay? And I said, if need be, I'll make an appearance at the county legislature over this issue, but the county needs to probe and find what's wrong down there. In my opinion, they're ultimately responsible because the drainage is working, and now with the construction, it's not. So something was blocked off. So our legislature seems to be on our side, so we'll see where this goes. Any questions on this? we'll see.
Right.
We'll see, okay? All right, highway superintendent.
Quick update, we did get our new truck last week, Wednesday, we were running it Thursday. Seems to be working fine, everybody seems to love it, be happy with it. Glad it finally showed up. Took a little convincing for Allegiance to bring it to us, they wanted us to come pick it up. After all the problems we've had, you know, why would we take the chance of sending two guys up there, drive it 2 hours back, and potentially break it down? So they agreed to bring it to us, and they were quite pleasant about it. So I'm happy to have that, boys are happy to have it. That's the number one priority right there. So we've been doing a bunch of work down to the campsite, fixing erosion, cleaning DIs. We reestablished the sewer line down there, shored that back up, covered it up for winter. In the future, I told Ernie, that line from on top of the hill, from one DI to the other is gonna have to be replaced. So years of erosion, it's actually pushed out, and it's also developed a sag. So it's cooling inside that line. We lifted it, pushed it back as far as we could, but I wasn't taking a chance without Chris around. He was off that day. Chose to be off. I didn't want to bust a sewer line and have to deal with it on our own. So we got our Shanley Road paved. Turned out halfway decent. We didn't complete it from one end to the other. We were probably another 10 loads of asphalt to get it done, but we stayed within budget. It is paved from top to bottom. We got a little bit more shoulder work to do up there, and then we'll have that road all shouldered. Conga Road's been shouldered. They cut brush, trimming roadsides. We spent yesterday or today cutting weight birch because this wet heavy snow actually showed us where all our cleaning trees are. And there's a lot of them that droop down into the roads, and we cleaned up a bunch of roads today. Probably clean it up tomorrow. Got most of our sand put up right now, still working on that. Pat Kern actually gave us, from his pit, screen sand at no charge. All we had to do was haul it down. So we're taking advantage of that just because he's being nice and we don't have to use ours up. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot going on. Trying to get ready for plowing. Pretty soon we'll be ordering salt. Roads are in pretty decent shape for winter. Most of the washouts are patched. We worked with Santa Clara last week, repairing part of the South River Road where the shoulder is deteriorating way up above by the old pump house for Santa Clara. So it's actually sank, the shoulder's given out. We took our machine up and they brought some poles down. We drove poles down in the ground, cribbed it up, backfilled it with stone, and then we actually moved the road over so people can get further away from that edge. There's another section to be done up there. They're supposed to get some more material together. Probably won't be till spring when the weather's going. But we're gonna fix that for them. Sean Trombley, the highway superintendent up there, offered us their out of service 2016 Ford truck with the plow. He approached his board and they approved it. I don't know what the dollar is going to be. Insignificant at this point. It might be $1, it might be $500 when it comes to the plow, and it's in way better shape than the two trucks we run right now. So we're very appreciative of that. We did get our first installment check from Santa Clara for plowing for this year. I have a meeting tomorrow with the park and the DEC over our gravel pit up on the South River Road. So there's a line dispute is their biggest issue, because we haven't split out the extra 10 acres yet. So with the redesign of our gravel pit, we're trying to convince the DEC to take out the major hill so that your plateau on the back and your plateau on the front are even, which we shouldn't have to expand the pit again for decades with the amount of gravel that's in there. But that line runs right along that ridge. So until we expand the gravel pit acreage, they're probably gonna hold us up on that permit. So that's something Ernie's got to push to get it surveyed out and Because we all talked about it and agreed to have the acreage put back into the gravel pit. I'm hoping they'll relinquish the permit to us, but they may hold it up and we may have to revise it again, more engineering fees. Giving you a heads up on that. That's about all I've got.
Okay, thank you, Roger. All right, third payment on UV system, okay, my recommendation based on what I just heard about the rail system, and there's no gain in it, so I make a motion that we table that. Jim makes the motion,
But it's the U-based system, is that the one with the gate you wanted to?
yes, that's the gate and the rail,
Okay, so
okay, the rail system doesn't have a gate, so it's making access difficult. So we
It's a
have,
safety issue to have to climb over that railing. It's too
yeah,
sad,
the
so
only
why did we-
stipulation I'd have to paying it is if they're supposed to put the gate in, have the gates installed before they get paid.
Right. well, we gotta,
But we gotta look at the engineered plans to make sure.
was there a plan for a gate?
Right.
Okay, because that's all within the cost. Okay, projected. So we gotta find out, okay, with the engineering, that's what we're tabling, okay? So you were a second, Tim?
Yep.
All those in favor, tabling it? It's passed. Possible change of November board meeting, to November 18th from November 25th. So this is the situation. Normally, we go to fourth Monday of the month, okay, that would be the 25th. We must submit our budget to the county shortly after, okay, November 20th. So we need to have the board meeting on the 18th so we can finalize our budget so we can give it to the county. Any questions on why we need to make that change?
It's okay, but I won't be here, well, I might, I'm going to the Buffalo Chiefs game, so we're coming back the 18th.
It's 6:30 at night, okay? We'll be back in time, okay? All those, Jim made a motion, Tim seconded it, all those in favor? Aye. So our board meeting will be the 18th of November, 6:30. Change of office days for the week of the 11th. November 11th is a Monday, all right? It's also Veterans Day. So I'd like to do this thing, close on November 11th and then open up, okay, on Thursday, November 14th. Any questions? That's what we've been doing with Monday holidays, okay? Close on Monday and then open the office on Thursday. So the hours are there for citizens. Jim makes the motion, Tim seconds it, all those in favor? Aye. Then the second we'd like to do is Thanksgiving. It is Thursday, November 28th, and then the Friday after. We'd like to close the town offices for November 28th and 29th. For Thanksgiving time. Jim makes the motion. Cindy seconds it. All those in favor? Aye. All right, and next is a budget amendment, a transfer of money. So it's on the bottom of this sheet here, okay? It's on the bottom of this sheet here, on your informational material. So from tax assessor, which is line A1355.4, transfer $350 to drug testing, which is line A4010.4. From tax assessor, okay, to drug testing, $350. Cindy makes the motion, Tim seconds it. All those in favor? Aye. Next item is approval of the rates for the SRF campground for 2025. So we had questions, okay, on whether the electrical rate is correct. So you want to table this, okay? Want to table it?
Table until we get the.
Okay. Jim makes the motion. Tim seconds it. All those in favor? Aye. So I'll have that for the next time around. And then for the new furnace for the pump house, we decided the recommendation is to table that.
Just at least one bid.
Get one more at least, okay? All right. Jim makes the motion to table. Tim seconds it. All those in favor? Aye. Public and board comments.
Yes, I have a quick question just for clarification on the campsite pricings. So on the Rock Hill cabin, a 3-day is like you check in at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you stay a night, you stay all day the next day, you stay a night, and then you check out in the morning. Is that considered a 3-day stay? So it would
You
be,
stay all the way from Friday to Monday. It's 3 nights.
so
It'll be
it's 3
Friday night,
nights,
Saturday.
not 3 days.
Yes.
It should be 3 nights. Right? Friday night, Saturday night,
Yeah.
Sunday
Sunday
night,
night.
check out Monday.
Monday.
Yeah,
Okay, so because a lot of people go by nights, a 3-night stay, so that's a 4-day stay. Does that am I being clear about that? You know, like when you check into a hotel, if you check in on a Friday and you stay 3 days, that's considered Friday, Saturday, and you check out on Sunday. So it's gotta be, I think it needs to be a 3-night stay.
Yeah, hotels are 3 nights though. If you're at a 3-night stay at a, like if you say.
Right, 3-night stay, that's 4 days.
Yeah,
So is this 3 days or 3 nights?
3 nights.
It's 3 nights.
Just for clarification, so you
so
don't
we
get
should
that.
say 3 nights.
I'm changing it to nights right now,
Okay,
okay?
thank you.
And a 3-day night stay,
So 4-day, 3 night.
but it's not full
Right,
4
it's
days.
check in and check out. Right.
Okay, so it's like half,
Yep,
and then half at the end,
yeah,
but it's still 3 nights.
3 nights. That clarifies that.
Mr. LePage?
Wilbur wanted me to ask about the, furnace.
I haven't got an answer, okay,
Okay,
on why that thermostat doesn't want to move.
Yep.
okay? I got a phone call into Tanner and he hasn't gotten back to me.
okay,
So I'm
All
working on that.
all right, I'll let him know.
Any other questions or concerns?
If we haven't, I think we need to send a thank you to the Sportsman's Club for what they've done,
Yes.
donations for the beach.
Okay? That'll be done.
Very nice of them.
Good idea.
How did the APA get involved up the river here?
Okay, so Jim made a phone call on behalf of the board to both the DEC and the APA. And so then a DEC agent came and then he said, basically he would at some point bring a surveying team in to see if there was any infringement on New York State property, okay? And that's all he could do. But then when it comes to, all right, filling in wetlands, that's solely within the authority of the APA. And then I wrote a memo, okay, asking for specific places, okay, and offering help to identify properties.
Okay. Do you know what can of worms you've opened? A bird? Because what's gonna happen? It's been going on for so many years. And who's gonna pay for it? These people are gonna walk away from their lease. So and it's still gonna have to be done. So it's gonna be done by the taxpayers. Who's ever got the biggest pockets is who they go after. And the town of Waverly will be the one. I mean, to me, this could have been handled by the code officer. I mean, it's up to the code officer. The lease has never been enforced for how many years? Forever. I mean, 30 days, you got 30 days to clean up your lot. I mean, it's the most enforceable thing we have in the town of Waverly. The River Road leases. And they've never been enforced. You've got junk cars up there, and people have filled in, they're gonna go back to the town of Waverly. Because the town of Waverly has got the deepest pockets. And that's who's gonna pay. And it's gonna cost you unbelievable amount of money, because the APA is not gonna care. When they come in, you're gonna restore it back to what and it's gonna be the town of Waverly. These people are gonna walk away. You think they're gonna spend?
I don't believe a lot of them will walk away. The ones that are in violation right now, Lawrence had built $250,000 homes on a lease lot.
But are the
Are they
ones
gonna
that
give
have
it
built these homes, are they in the violation?
Oh yeah, some of them are. Yes, they
They're
are.
over their 50 feet.
They're over their 50 feet. They're filling in shorelines. They're building trails to the river, through the swamps. You know, again, people think it's a better class of people because you're getting a higher tax base up there, but people from out of town have never dealt with the APA, and they're so used to doing what they want every place else. Sooner or later, it's gotta come to a halt, no matter what it costs.
Wow. It's gonna cost the town of Waverly
Hopefully.
one hell of a pile of money.
They could.
It
I've been pushing for
absolutely
years
is. They
that-
go for the deepest pockets. These people.
I've told them for years, it's gonna come back, the town is the ultimate responsible
Right.
party. They've allowed this to take place. They should
Why-
have stopped it years ago.
It should have been, the code officers should have been given the authority the minute they started to stop. Stop work order right here. No farther.
I
And
agree.
then you got 30 days. If you don't correct it, your lease is gone. Now it's gone on so that, and everybody's been in violation of it.
Yep, a lot of them,
You can't put a sewer system in
and we're
within
about
100
feet,
150 feet, I
100
think.
feet,
100,
feet,
and then it's gotta be all,
engineered.
and if your water source is gotta be at least 100 feet from your
Mhm.
sewer system.
Mhm.
And strictly enforced on all these lakes in the Adirondacks, the APA has enforced this right to the letter. Jeff Seaby's got a lot up there. He wouldn't even put a load of fill in because he works contracts on Cranberry Lake, and he knows how the APA, and he couldn't believe the way they operate up here. So it's, and once they come and see one person, this person's gonna say, what about this guy down the road here?
Yep.
You're just looking at me, look at this one, and then it's gonna snowball right down the road.
That was the way they leased it. When you got it. If a person leased it from, so somebody else gave up their lease or whatever, and somebody else took that lease over, that's what they got. Who's to blame for that then?
Doesn't matter.
Well,
You're gonna correct, the AP is gonna have to correct it.
I think we'll look at.
Once they start, they're gonna correct everything. Yeah, I got one other thing, last winter, I don't think the skating rink was flooded. What's the plan this year?
We'll try to do it. We'll try to do it. So we'll probably post looking for someone to do the job, okay? So,
What do you mean?
because Chad had a stipend to do that, correct? All right. Well,
Not that I know of, Christ, there
Well-
was never no.
No.
There was never a budget transfer, the budget transfers you did, there was never a budget transfer did in 8 years. You did the first budget transfer, it was done in the last 8 years. It was just
One of the board members at the time approved if he would do the project for the winter, he would get a pay raise. That's how that was
Yeah.
designed.
No,
That's right.
that was before me.
It was before.
He told me it was all volunteer work.
No.
well, I would say that we'll have to advertise, okay, for someone to do it, all right, and then decide on an hourly rate. Again, monitoring what the winter weather is gonna be like.
Right.
So I was kind of, when I first took this job, that was kind of like, there were so many things coming down at me. That kind of fell through the cracks. But then we had cold and thaw. It probably wasn't even worth doing it last winter.
No.
last winter you had about a 10 or 12 day period that you could have flooded and that was it. 10 or 12 days all
Right.
went in that one time frame where we had 10 or 12 days.
It might have been in the
Where you
middle
could
of
have maintained
January.
ice. Other than that, there was no maintaining
No.
ice last
Right.
winter. So, I mean,
It was cold in mid-January, I think. It was
it
the
was
coldest
one
period.
10 or 12 day.
We'll have to wait and see what it's gonna do this year.
But we should hire someone, okay, to do the job and then we'll monitor, okay, when it's done and when it's not done.
Which brings me to this last point there, when you mentioned that Chad got raises based on what he was doing at the campsite. What about that tin? Where did all that tin go that was on that? There was tin to do that roof on the shop. It sat outside for a number of years.
For 4 or 5 years it sat there.
Right,
There was roofing behind the
Yeah.
woodshed.
is was it put inside or is it still there?
I'll have to find out. I don't know. When I used to walk Murphy, I could see the tin, but Murphy's not around, so I don't walk there.
Murphy's not
February 6th, 2023, we put her down. So, been a while. All right, so the tin. The roofing, it's roofing behind the work shed.
You wanna try that Silpro, Roger? I got a bag
It's
of
up to them guys. I've already cold patched it. We've got one more bag to put down when it comes in Wednesday. Cracks are filled for now. State's just gonna tear it all out anyways right off, so.
Well,
But if you already moved forward, okay, so then we'll just go with that. Thanks.
Well, I mean, if you wanted, you said you got one hole, you wanna try it and see. I mean, you can pour that stuff in the middle of winter. It's good for below zero. And see which one holds up
We
the
could
best.
try it and see which one, if that holds up,
Yeah,
if you've got one.
yeah. I can drop a bag off on the way through in the morning. You just gotta mix it to the specs on the bag.
We're need to have Chris do it tomorrow.
But like I said, it's self-leveling, so
I think it's worth a try.
try it.
It's worth a try.
I know it holds up better than cold patch does.
It's Silpro,
Silpro.
Can it be poured over the coal patch?
well, we've still got one hole.
Well, if the cold
Yeah.
patch is level with
Yeah, it
Sidewalk,
won't do
you
any
can't-
good, but
the, pour it over.
I mean, you know,
If we still got one hole, we could try it. on.
try it in at one hole and see.
Is everybody in agreement with that?
Sure.
Okay, good.
I was just wondering, where's the meeting at? I don't know what addresses to either for the public hearing. Got the date and everything, but is it in this office?
Yeah, it's right here.
Oh, in this
This
office?
is just 6 North Main.
I didn't know whether it was here. I know they're voting next day. I didn't know whether it was in front of,
No, it's right here in this room.
in this office. Right.
Anybody else?
Well, back to the APA, Bruce was here one meeting, and that's what was brought up. I'm trying to remember, does any of you guys remember what his answer was? Why he did not stop those people? He said it was, you remember the meeting he was here? I don't know if it's in the minutes of that. It's in the minutes, why he said, or how I mean, it should be on tape, right? His, response why he did not, take action on the people, I mean, a lot of things are cut off the things with the lease that, the cutting down of the trees. And, cause I believe that's in the lease, they don't have to cut anything down, are they? The permit, and, I don't remember what his response was as code enforcer, but it was brought up to Bruce. It was probably about 2 months ago, maybe.
Yeah.
If I recall right, he said that the DEC said that it's their jurisdiction, but however, they relinquish the responsibility back to the local code enforcement officer because they just don't have enough manpower to do the job. So that's what, wasn't that what he basically said, Roger?
Pretty much like that, yeah. Use your best discretion.
Because I know when I was still town account clerk, they told him at that time, that was the way to go about it.
Part of the docks, when they were putting in permanent docks instead of portable docks. Use your best discretion.
I think that pretty much sums it up.
And honestly, I mean, is it Bruce's job to determine what's a wetland and what's not?
No.
Like, he has no, you know,
It's not. I
It's
mean,
not.
that-
It's
That,
but filling, you know,
everything is mapped out by the APA for any wetland.
All right. Just a comment on the executive session that we're gonna have concerning potential litigation. There will be no action items after, okay? We need an executive session, okay? We'll just adjourn, but we're gonna discuss our litigation. There's no action items after. Whatever, make sure you exercise your right to vote on November 5th or earlier, folks. All right, so we need a motion to enter executive session. Jim makes the motion. Tim seconds it. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll drop that off on my way through in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm going.
Roger, I'd like to tell you, or show you. You know what, let's say this is the parking area of the. Everybody, the kids are walking down. You see down here between the two properties, the school